Hello, so it's Tristan here from ZebraInvest, and today I want to run through how you can go out there and find your goldmine investment area. So lots of people think that you have to have a goldmine area just to hone in and focus on so you can find the best deals possible for your money and where you're either going to get the most amount of capital growth or where you're going to be able to get the highest amount of yield and cash flow each month. I would agree with this, but personally I only ever invest in properties on my own doorstep. So my company, ZebraInvest, is now based in Norwich, so we only tend to do anything within about 15 minutes of our front door. Might be a little bit narrow-minded, but it's a great way to be able to get around, see a lot of different deals and really focus in on what you know on your area. And seeing as there's about 250,000 people living in Norwich, that works quite well for me. But if you're looking to invest somewhere else in the country, you don't know where necessarily to look for first, or you're thinking, well, can I make my pounds go further if I say invest up north? Then this could be a really good way to be able to hone down and focus in an area. Or if you're looking like me to invest on your own doorstep, how you can work out which postcodes, which areas are getting more of an uplift and for what reason and what you can do about it. So let's just jump in, and I'm going to just go through 5 things that we're going to look at that you can do in property data, which is a really clever tool that you can use to kind of hone through and refine through information. It uses all data from Rightmove, Zoopla and on the market, but I'm going to quickly go through that and show you how you can find your area. So just move me across the screen. So as you can see, we're going to go through how you can quickly research an area, delve into which micro areas are going to do quite well for you, how you can find areas where there's going to be regeneration, there's investment from the local councils or from national government, how you can also find high yielding rental hotspots, so where you're going to get real generating more cash, and it could be quite good to be able to get a really good return on investment there. Or finally, to how to find and target investment areas on your own doorstep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to property data right now. With this video, you'll either have a link below it, or I would have given you a link so you can head over to there and test it out, try it out and get a discount when you sign up. At the end of the video, I'll either give you the code for that, or I'll give you a link to where you can get that discount for it. And it's the only discount code available out there at the moment, so hopefully you'll find that of use. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to head over to property data. So as you head in, if any of you want to find out about pricing, property data starts from £14 a month up to I think about 44 at the moment. Personally, I've got the max account just because it allows you to search for the most amount of data. It doesn't throttle you and stop you from needing to search and have a look. And if you are serious about finding great deals, I think that's what you need. It's up to you, try what you like, but even if you just try the trial. So I'm going to log in, and hopefully we'll be able to just get this to go straight in. And then when you come in, and if you've already set up a target area and an investment area, it comes up with a display for all of the areas that you're looking at. And you can see I've got some where I used to live in London myself, and then I've got others for the areas that I've been looking at. But what I'm going to do is we're going to head over to the research tool section. And in the research section, this is where it's quite neat. It's got data across all different types of property and research. It's all brought together across the country to help you hone down and find a goldmine target area that you want to invest in. So if you look here, you can see you've got local data, and that's where you can draw your own area to hone it down and target it. Postcode data, so we're going to have a look across the whole country to be able to focus on an area that you might want to be working on, and you can then sort it by stuff like yield and investment. You've got rental yield hotspots, you can see where's tracking away, where's been improving, and then you've got growth zones where they're doing, as I said earlier, regeneration, investment, stuff like that to help you out. And then if you want to have a look through various other sections, you can detail into like construction costs, because in different parts of the country it must cost a different amount to be able to build the property out. So as I said in the slides, we're going to quickly research an area and jump in. So the first thing that I'll do then is I'm just going to go into the postcode data, and this could be quite good whether you're looking for something in your own area or if you're looking across the whole country. So a neat little thing you can do here is it gives you a list of all of the data, so whether it's by postcode, what the average asking price, pound per square foot, and various different bits, and the turnover is all based on how many properties are selling and moving in that area. But what we can do is, if we go here to average yield, say we were looking for something where we want to find something where we want really good cash flow and properties coming in, what we can do is go to average yield, and then if we go to descending, and what that's going to do is put all those postcodes in those areas where it's got really good high cash flow, or where it believes to have the best cash flow in the area, at the top. And what it's doing is it's taking a look at the average rent in those areas, and then it's putting that over the average price. So, for example, look, you've got here at the top here, you've got BD1, which is the centre of Bradford. The next one down, you've got SR1. Personally, I don't know SR1, so I can have a look. You can click on this, which is trend, and trend is quite neat because you can see roughly how prices have moved over time, what's roughly been going on. You can see that here you go, in 2019, it's probably about 66,000, and in 2020, we're now looking around, probably around the 70,000. So that's £4 in a year, which is pretty good going on a 70 grand property. And you can see across September, October last year, prices really seem to be shooting up. And again, you can kind of delve in to have a look at what else is going on in the area, so how much rents are averaging. I think that's going on per week, but you can jump in and you can see what's roughly going on there. So once you've done that, if you found an area you like the look of, you can then click into view. And what it then does is that then creates a local area for your properties. And so here you go, SR1, little did I know, is Sunderland. So this is an area where they've seemed to have a fair amount of growth in the prices. But what it's saying here is there isn't really that much data that's going to come up for us. So what you can do is, at the top here, there's two buttons. You've got expand area and contract. If you expand the area, you can increase it. So we can turn say stuff that is going to be near the city centre is going to probably achieve a similar price. If we just click generate data now, it then gives you a little warning if it thinks it's too small or too big. It's then giving you results of everything else that's going on there. So what you can then do is you can then have a look and say, if there's a really cheap, say for example, 1 bedroom, or you can pick up data like that. You can filter this down just literally to the pure data. It's almost like you've scraped it from Rightmove or Zoopla yourself. So then you could then turn around and look and think, well, I only want a 5-bedroom house, I only want a certain type of property, and you could whittle through those yourself on the data. The good bit you can do also is you can filter stuff by rents. So for example, you were looking for a rent-to-rent deal, you could then have a look in here and you see roughly what the spread of how much stuff is costing. And then you can again do that by data, so you can whittle it down. Or you can even put it as a map, so if you want to see where all those properties are located, then you can do that. But here you can get a list of all of those. For example, terrace house, I don't know how much terrace houses rent for around there, but you can see that there's a few different properties coming up, so take a look through. But that's quite a good way. We've just managed to quickly find maybe a possible Goldmine hotspot. The other bit here, look, I can just click on yields in this area. So it's a typical yield for a 1-bed is 7.2%. And for a 2-bed, it's saying what the best type of property to buy is 8.9%. You can also do the same for a HMO roomlet, if the data is available. It doesn't seem to have it for this one. And the other bit you can then look as well is the average price growth. So this is what's happened in the past. In the past, there's no mean an indication of what's going to happen in the future, but it gives you a rough idea for what's gone on. And here you go, you can see over the last 5 years, there's been a 12% increase in prices and 7% in the last 3 years, which is still pretty good going. And then the other bit that's interesting as well, you can see activity, and so then you can see roughly how many properties are trading and selling in the area. And it gives you an idea whether or not you're in an area where there's more people selling or there's more people buying, which can just be a good indicator of what's going to happen. So that has quickly jumped into how we can quickly research an area, but how do we find growth zones with regeneration, possibly in the part of the country or an area that we're already interested in? So again, if we head back here to the research section of property data, they've got this great thing called growth zones. And growth zones flags up all major developments and stuff that's happening across the country and allows you to kind of sort it out into an area. So say for example, you've decided that a great area could be, say, I don't know, the east of England. Then you could turn and say, look, Hunstanton's having a load of work on there. The M1's being upgraded, so transport roads are improving. The A14's having a bit of work. So you can then turn around and sit there, look, what they're roughly looking to do, and they've got a master plan of what they're trying to do and trying to attract. And you can see it's a real, by the looks of things, what planning and stuff they're putting through as well. And the idea of this being is you can kind of look at it and think, well, what are they trying to achieve? And does that now mean Hunstanton is a good place to go and buy? So you can do something like that. Or if you go back to the growth zones, if you say, for example, I don't know, in Wales, you can then have a look and they're saying they're doing something in Cardiff Central. Or if you were, say, looking, I don't know, in Greater London, you can see all projects that are going on across the city and where it might be a good idea to purchase a property or in a neighbouring area of that property, because you can see that the property prices are going to rise in future. So it's a good, neat way to have all that research and information presented to you without necessarily having to do all the hard work to work it out. And here you go, look, you can turn and say, they've done, in this area here, they have demolished a section, started construction when they expect it all to be completed. So if all of that's expected to be in 2036, then you might find that by buying properties in that area, then that kind of gets gentrified and that's going to lift the property prices for you. So that's just gone through how you can find growth zones for the regeneration, but now how to find high yielding rental hotspots. And I kind of showed this in the quickly researching the areas and giving you that data. But if we head back into the research section, you can then turn around and look at the yield hotspots. And again, it's going to be, most of the data that we would have seen earlier is going to flag up those areas that we would have seen at the very top spot there. But it's quite interesting to have a look at this because you can be attracted to Bradford, Sunderland, obviously into Wales, and various parts of the country to see where things are. But this postcode here, NR5, is actually already on my doorstep. It's only just around the corner from me. But you might sit there and think, well, there's no deals down south. But clearly, just looking at the numbers here, there are hotspots and there's pockets of areas around the country that could be really quite good for investment. And again, for example, if you do this, you've then got the view data button here, and the year plus or minus is telling you how much capital appreciation is also being in that area at the same time. So let's have a quick look at, say, NR5. Not that I want more competition in my area. But you can see it's come up with that area again, and it's got quite a few data points. So I'm going to click Generate Data. And here you've got a spread of all the different properties. Sometimes I tend to look at stuff that's at the bottom end of it to see what you can do there, as I pointed out. You can then turn and you can go over to yield, and you can turn and say what it thinks is going to be the best yielding type of property. 4.9, 5.2, 5.5. It's a little bit lower than what it had said originally. And here you go, look, even it's now actually is working out on HMO rooms, it's saying that it seems to think that 6.7% is going to be the best yield you can get on a 3-bedroom property. Again, we can have a look at the price growths, and you can see over the last 5 years in this area, we've had a 20% growth in house prices. And that's fantastic, because if you think 5 years down the line, you might be able to refinance that and not necessarily leave that much cash in. Albeit you shouldn't be banking on capital growth to be able to see how much cash you can leave in a deal. It can be beneficial. Or you could think in 5 years' time, you know what, the house price has gone up by 20%. I can now actually start getting mortgage products on a property where it's got more equity in the deal, so I'm going to start paying less interest, which could be quite a good way to de-risk your property portfolio in future. Again, you can see what activity is going on the market to dig in and find those kind of deals. But it's just a really interesting way to see what's going on. And that's, again, you can see, yield hotspots. There's other parts of the country where it's got it. You need to say, where else would we be interested in? I don't know where you want to go, but say LS, I imagine that's Leeds. It might be, or it's going to be Liverpool. There's Leeds. But there you go. And again, you can then whittle through that data to be able to find properties and what might work for you. So then, I then mentioned finally how to find and target investment areas on your own doorstep. So, like me, you don't want to leave 15 minutes away from your house. Personally, that's what I like doing. Anything that's on my doorstep is nice and easy. So I used to live and invest in Southampton, and everything there was probably within about 20 minutes of my doorstep, and that just made it really easy to be able to get the same set of trades to go from one property to the next. And then if you want to get a project manager or anybody else involved, you can start building a really good power team in your area. So if you head back into property data again, what you can do in the research section is you can use the postcode data. And by using this, it's got all the postcodes across the whole of the country all loaded in here. And you see it's just slowly loading up. But what you've got here is the ability to filter. So once it's all loaded, if we click filter, then what you can typically do is you can sort out an area that you're interested in investing. So for example, if we've got postcode contains, I don't know, say for example, PO, which is for Portsmouth, you can then click apply. And then here, now we've got everything that's come up in the Portsmouth area. And what we could then do is we could sort by, say for example, 3 years, and that's going to be the capital growth, so 3-year capital growth. You can sort of say, well, PO6 clearly over the last 3 years, 15-year increase, so maybe that's a good place to buy. The average yield it's saying is actually quite low, so depends what you want to do there. Or we could turn around and say, look, we want to go by average yield. And so average yield, it's saying PO5 is probably the best place to be investing. And then what you could do is, again, you can look at the trends, be able to click through and see what's going on there. And you'll see over, even in the last year, it was kind of set around 200. Last year, at the very beginning of the pandemic, you can see where house prices were advertised for less, and then they really crept back up, so about 20 grand or so in the last year. You can see price per square foot, 267, now probably around about 280. I'm just almost trying to blend in my own head where I put a line across that. And again, you can see roughly what's going on. And this year is quite interesting to see rents come down to almost a real low at the end of November, and then this spike every year is where all the students start looking. And the reason it spikes is because most of the student properties are rented, maybe say, I don't know, £400 a room, £300 a room, whereas before the only properties that were coming on market were going to be single lets. And so a single let, maybe for a couple living there, is going to cost far less in rent than what an HMO would. And then again, you can then, if you wanted to, you can jump in by using the view section to analyse that area, work out what pockets might be work well for you, and be great little investment areas. So I hope you found that useful. Hey guys, thanks for spending your time going through the Secret Sauce series and watching the video there. Hopefully you found it jam-packed full of information that you can action, go out there and really start getting property deals across the line. As you know, or you might not know yet, this is part of the Secret Sauce series. So every week you can have 2 videos sent straight to your inbox explaining how you can go out there and find great deals. So that can be anything from how to get deal sourcing, how to find properties below market value, stuff where the property size are way too big for the area, and how you can negotiate down a great discount so you can do maybe like a title split. If you're out there looking for rent-to-rent deals, that will show how you can quickly find out demand, stack the deals, and to be able to get them right through. But we've done a whole series of this, and the idea is you can get emailed each week with all the little updates going through there. And we've got some fantastic little tools and ways to get around finding investment deals. So all I want you to do is, if you'd like to keep receiving these videos that we're being creating, this is all completely free content. If you head over to Cutly, cutt.ly/ZebraInvest, capital Z, capital I. When you hit that page, there's going to be an email sign-up form. What I want you to do is just enter your name, what type of property you're investing in, what type of deals you're doing, and roughly what you're looking for. That's going to help me to work out what kind of content to put out there, create to help you along your way. And then what we're going to do is send out a fantastic series of videos exactly like this one in our Secret Sauce series to really help you get going and get your property deals coming across the line and hitting your goals. I hope you found this of help. If you've got any questions, comments, or anything else like that, leave them in the below or pop me an email, which is tg@ZebraInvest, and I'll see what I can do to help you. But thank you very much, guys, and I look forward to seeing you soon.